Hey guys, welcome back. Thanks for joining me for another video. If you are new to my channel, my name is Stephanie. I'm a life and relationship coach. If you are a subscriber, welcome back. Thank you so much for your love and support. This week, I want to get into some ways that you can tell someone that you're dating is toxic. So ladies, let's get into this. Let's talk about 5 specific things that make a man toxic. So if you are out there and you're dating and you are struggling, especially after coming off of a bad breakup or relationship, and you're one of those women that's like, I'm not gonna be able to trust myself. How can I trust anyone else again? These are things that you have to learn and educate yourself on so you make good decisions. So learning these signs on what makes a guy toxic is absolutely huge. I wish I would have learned this stuff growing up, because definitely wouldn't have been so attracted to the bad boys. I would have known that they're unhealthy and I would have known what a healthy relationship looks like, but I digress. So one of the first things that can definitely be a sign that someone is toxic, unhealthy, and possibly even narcissistic is it is all about him. Wherever you want to go, whatever you want to do, it's all about him. The conversation is all about him. This person never asks you how your day is, and even if they do, you just can tell, you know intuitively, ladies. This is something that comes very, very easy to not just women, but men as well, but especially with women. Your intuition is bar none the best out there. So use that intuition to your advantage. You know, hands down, when you are with someone and it feels off. You know when it feels like it's just all about this person, they never really care about me and what's going on with me. Everything always goes back to what is going on in his life. It's all about him and what's convenient for him and what he wants to do. First sign that you're with someone that is definitely toxic and unhealthy. The next sign that you are possibly dating someone that is toxic is when they talk about their ex, they always blame their ex. They're always bad-mouthing them. Now, don't get me wrong. When we're coming out of a relationship, it is normal sometimes for our ego to get right front and center and want to just bash and blame the other person for everything that went wrong in a relationship and why she's crazy and why she did this that was always, she was always so jealous and all of those things. But the true test of a man is going to be how he owned his part in that relationship. So someone that's healthy, no matter what the other person did to you, they're going to be able to own what they did in the relationship that was, I don't want to say wrong, but their part in the relationship as well. And it could be that maybe I was weak and I didn't stand up to this person. There has to be some responsibility or accountability for their part in the relationship, because it takes 2 to tango. So how do they respond to the past relationships that they had in their life? Was everyone crazy? Was everyone to blame? Are they always pretending like they're perfect and they do nothing wrong? And if they don't pretend like they're perfect, if they verbally say, because I have been with someone that used to do this all the time, that they would say, I'm not perfect, but yet they would never know, okay, well, what is it about you that you do need to work on? And if you do know what it is, are you consciously taking steps to actually work on that? That definitely is a test between not just someone who's toxic, but just someone who just isn't healthy, isn't in touch with themselves, doesn't have self-awareness, is not going to always be aware of when you're having a disagreement, when you're having to compromise on something, when you're going through something challenging in your relationship. Are they going to be able to stand up and raise their hand and say, okay, this was my part and why this maybe had been a difficult situation, or why we couldn't overcome this? What am I doing that I need to constantly be working on too within myself, because no one's perfect. We all have baggage and stuff. You want to be with someone who has that kind of awareness and is constantly wanting to grow and learn and better themselves, and not just put everything that goes wrong in their life on someone else. So the next thing, and it definitely ties into that last point, is does this person know where their wounds are? So, as we're getting to know a person and we hear the stories, we hear about what our childhood was like, what was our experiences, in our 20s and 30s, what are things that we've had to go through in life, what are the things that we have struggled at in our life, what are the tough times that we've been through, what are the wounds that are going on inside of me? I think that that's absolutely huge, because if you are with someone that has that type of self-awareness, no matter what difficult times you go through, and you're going to go through them because that's life and that's relationships, is this person going to be able to rise up and to want to work on things? Or are they going to be the type of person that when things get a little muddy and difficult, that they just bail, or that they just put everything on you, or that their bad behavior, there's no accountability for their bad behavior. They'll just flip the script and call you crazy, or jealous or whatever. So it's not a matter of that man reflecting and saying, okay, my girlfriend is being a little jealous right now, but maybe the reason why she's being jealous is because I've done things to cause that jealousy to actually happen. And again, if you're the woman, also being able to self-reflect and saying, am I being jealous? Am I overreacting? And being honest with yourself when you say, no, I'm not overreacting. I have every right to feel this way, especially when someone is giving me reasons to feel this way. Maybe they haven't cheated or done, anything too drastic, but they've definitely done things that have made me feel uncomfortable and I don't like it. And when I verbally communicate that to him, how does he respond? Does he flip it and blame it on me? Or does he say, you know what? Yeah, I see your point. I understand where you're coming from. And even sometimes maybe he won't see your point, but he'll at least respect how you feel. So the next thing is he is not consistent. And this is not just the sign of someone that's toxic, it definitely is, but it also could just be the sign for someone that doesn't know what they want, and maybe they do know what they want, but they don't want to communicate that with you. They're not going to tell you, hey, what I'm looking to do is just be intimate with you for about 6 months, and then I'm going to venture off, or I just want to get in your pants, so basically in 2 months from now, I can still be dating and like doing my thing in different ways. So maybe someone doesn't want to obviously say that to you because they want to abuse you, they want to get whatever they want out of you, they're being manipulative. But on the flip side, if you're not holding someone accountable and verbally communicating, hey, like, you're not consistent with me. Like, you say you want a relationship, but then when push comes to shove and it's Friday night and we make plans and you bail last minute, or when I'm talking to you, consistently throughout the week, and then all of a sudden the weekend comes and you go MIA, if you don't know how to verbalize that stuff, and if you don't ever stand up for yourself, then you're going to go on the hamster wheel. And this stuff's going to happen time and time again, and you're going to get stuck, and you're going to get more emotionally invested in this relationship, and then it's going to be harder to leave this relationship. And also, you're teaching people how you want to be treated by what you're tolerating. So if you're tolerating someone who is inconsistent, who doesn't do what he says he's going to do, someone that you're okay with just flaking on you the last minute, and you never basically setting a standard and being able to communicate with this person. If you're not that kind of a woman, you're always going to get or attract men that are going to be abusive, that are going to take advantage of you, and that will cheat on you or leave you or whatever, because there's no level of confidence in yourself to say, hey, I love myself and I want to be with you, but this stuff needs to change. And if it doesn't change, I know that I will find someone that would be willing and glad to give me the things that I'm actually looking for, which is, quite frankly, if we're talking about this subject, what you're looking for is just basic respect. We're talking about bare minimum right now. We're not even like raising the bar. We're just talking about point blank basic communication and respect between two people. Let's even talk about just like a friendship, not even really a romantic partner. And the last thing is, and I hate to even say this because it should just be common sense, but if we're coming from that codependency, if we're coming from lack, if we're needy and desperate and we feel like we need to be in a relationship, we need a man to fill me up inside, if you have all of that stuff going on inside of you, you will 1,000% overlook substance abuse, sexual abuse, physical abuse. Verbal abuse can sometimes be a little bit tricky because we tend to think that it's okay for someone to say a word to us or to yell at us or be passive aggressive or do any of those emotionally abusive tactics, because we haven't learned that, that's just as severe as someone putting their hands on you or doing anything else, because it gets into your psyche, it gets into your head, and it messes with you, and it can do more damage than you can honestly even think. So being aware of, does this person have any type of abusive problems? How do they handle confrontation? How do they handle when I say something to them and they don't like it? How does this person respond to me? That is really where you're gonna find whether or not someone is toxic, unhealthy, versus someone who is healthy, has self-awareness, loves themselves, and taking responsibility for their own self in this relationship. Remember, one of the biggest things with relationships in general, not just partnerships and romantic love, I'm talking about friendships, coworkers, people that you work with, family members, anything. Learning how to love yourself. This is why I created this channel. This is why I coach. This is why I make these videos. Learning how to have confidence in yourself, learning how to self-soothe. This stuff is so important because all of this fluff stuff, me teaching you like, okay, this is what emotional abuse looks like. This is what a toxic man looks like. You know, this is what manipulation looks like. All of this stuff, yes, we have to learn it. We have to know. That way when we see it, we know what it is. We can label it. Okay, this person's being manipulative. Okay, this person's having some narcissistic tendencies right now. That's absolutely huge. But what are you going to do inside of yourself that's causing you to engage with this person, that's causing you to tolerate this behavior? That's the stuff that we always have to work on. So I hope that this has helped you. Definitely go check out my videos on how to increase your confidence, how to learn how to parent yourself, learning how to self-soothe. So important stuff. If you have liked this video, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up and don't forget to hit subscribe and the notification bell, and I will see you next week.